Well, healthcare workers are among those in need of supplies and relief. Earlier, Johns Hopkins professor Andrew Pekos spoke to Bloomberg TV about what healthcare workers will see during the holiday season while treating coronavirus patients and, of course, administering that vaccine.
Case numbers continue to increase across the U.S. And what that means is that the healthcare workers that are in hospitals, that are on the front line there,
I
are
see
going
it
to
in
need to
emails
be
every day.
on guard and spending a lot more time at work rather than at home with their families. The case number surges in the U.S., happened after the Thanksgiving holidays. They continue to be at a high and unsustainable rate. And it's important to understand that it's the human power that is important at hospitals. So it's not just number of beds that are being occupied, it's how many people are available to take care of those individuals that are sick. And this pandemic has taken a real toll on the healthcare workers in terms of them getting sick and in how much stress they have endured to deal with all of the severe cases that are coming through.
Dr. Pekos, when you look at the rollout of vaccine, is it going according to plan? I know there are concerns about, some people with possible allergies not reacting, but overall, are you satisfied?
Yes, this is now going to be a logistics problem primarily. Although safety monitoring is going to continue to go forward. Let's touch on that first. Remember, this is an emergency use authorization. So we're going to continue to monitor for safety and for efficacy in individuals that are getting the vaccine, because now we're going to see a much larger number of people get the vaccine than were in the clinical trials. So safety and efficacy is still a primary concern and will be monitored. The flow of vaccine is always going to be a little bit variable. We're talking about production at a scale that companies have never had to do before. And so you certainly should expect to see some variations in the number of doses that are coming through on a weekly basis. It'll become even more complicated in 3 to 4 weeks when people have come back for their booster doses. But again, these are logistics problems. People have been thinking about these problems, putting things in place for months now. We expect to see some speed bumps, but we don't expect to see roadblocks. And I think the system is flexible enough to deal with some of those things as they come down the pipeline.
Andy, what can you tell us about the pace of vaccination? So you mentioned distribution, but if we go at the similar pace, how long will it take to actually vaccinate enough people in the U.S. to make sure we have herd immunity? Is it too slow?
Right now, it will be a little slow. I think we're banking on the fact that we will have more vaccines coming on the market over the next couple of months. We just heard this week that Moderna is all set for their formal FDA approval here in the United States. More Moderna vaccine doses are targeted for the United States. And we expect down the line, as more vaccines come on board, that we'll see these large jumps in the amount of vaccine doses that are available. It's important right now that the vaccination strategy is aimed at limiting severe cases. And that's why we've targeted those populations first. Then we'll move to the regular population.
That was Andrew Pekos, Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health professor. The Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health is supported by Michael R. Bloomberg, founder of Bloomberg LP and Bloomberg Philanthropy.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.